Don't feel it.
Well, it's got a cap, so this thing will tip over from here.
Good morning. The next presentation with MicroCap, now presenting Perfect Corp with Jimmy Shaw. He's the Investing Relations Director.
Morning. My name is Jimmy Shaw, the IR Director of Perfect Corp. Our management aren't able to make it because we have earnings next week. So for 1Q25. So the numbers or information we're provided is for as late as 4Q of last year, 2024. So who are we? We are an AI AR tech software company. We're founded in 2015, based out of Taiwan, Taipei City. As of the most recent reported period, we had over 350 professionals, approximately 50% are R&D professionals. Majority of our team are located in our headquarters in Taiwan. We listed on the NYSE October 2022. We have quite a few different offices around the world with North America, EU, and APEC. Now, the reason why we have these offices around the world is from a revenue distribution point of view, approximately, well, it'll fluctuate, but approximately 50% of revenue stems from the US, approximately anywhere from 25 to 30% from EU, and the rest from APEC, most notably Japan. Again, we're based out of Taiwan. Now, what do we do? I'm going to skip because we have a lot of pages, so I'm not going to go through each slide. So what do? We provide software and services, but what's unique about us is that we have a B2B and a B2C business. Now, I mentioned that we have about half of our professional R&D. Now, what they do is that we create one engine. The heart of our B2B and B2C is actually done at the same time. We don't separate the R&D process. And as a result, our services, there's quite a few of overlap. When you see the functionality, you'll see that, oh, what's available for B2B with our enterprise client, like Shiseido, like Estee Lauder, or Amazon, is very similar what you can see on the apps itself. So again, the B2B business is a software business. So we sign typically annual contracts with, let's say, an Estee Lauder of the world, typically 1-year contract. That's priced based on a few main factors. Number one is the module, as in if it's a virtual try-on for a lipstick or eyelash or frames for your glasses or watch. So each one is a module. So the more you utilize, the more you'll have to pay. Number two is geographic distribution. If you are a smaller client that only sells in the US versus a larger multinational that sells in 40 or 80 regions around the world, that obviously cost will differ. And the third is the number of SKUs. The more units of products you're trying to sell on through our platform, then obviously the more you'll pay. So again, one is the number of modules. Number two is the geographic distribution. And number three is the SKUs. On the B2C side, it's a totally different animal. We have on iOS or Android Play a facet of apps under the YouCam brand, YOUCAM. They are a freemium apps, as in you yourself can download right now. It is free to download. You have free trial with full access for 7 days. At the end of 7 days, you lose the premium functionality. And in order to regain that, typically is between 3 to 5 US per month per app. By the way, we have about anywhere from 5 to 7 at any given time, or approximately 39 per year per app. So that's why the B2B and B2C are very, very uniquely different, but at the same time, it flows perfectly. Here's an example of our brand clients. As you can see, these are quite large clients around the world, like Estee Lauder, Ulta, and so on and so forth. As of the end of 24, we are working with over 700 brand clients and over 800,000 SKUs. And if you look historically, the chart, the beginning of the red starts in the first quarter of 2021, right? So if you look at from 2021 till end of 24, the growth for the number of brand clients, as well as the number of SKUs that are on our platform has grown tremendously. What's unique about it is that, as mentioned before, we have virtual try-on. We can develop it internally. We can also gain different functionality through M&A. And that's exactly what we did in the first quarter of this year. Officially, it was announced in the end of December last year, but it closed this year, our acquisition of Wana. Wana was a software partner within Farfetch that provided also virtual try-on through AI, AR technology for handbags, for jewelry, for shoes, for scarves, and for clothing. Everything besides for watches and jewelry, we internally at Perfect, we didn't do. So there's very little overlap in the product and services. And as a result, we're able to have quite synergetic in terms of this M&A, synergetic transaction. And if you look at Wana itself, it was founded in 2018. Again, shoes, bags, watches, and scarves are what they do. And that is quite a good complement to our set of product and service offerings as well as client base. And their brand clients are also very big luxury brands that are around the world. Here's a few of their examples. So based on what I just said, again, Perfect's virtual try-on technology stems from our bread and butter, which is makeup, our jewelry, skin analysis, there's eyewear, there's watches, just other forms of jewelry like necklace or bracelets or rings and watches, as well as nails, plus Wana's sneakers, apparel or clothing, scarf, and bag. This is a really great way for us to create synergy through M&A. So a little more detail on the UCAN apps. As I mentioned before, is under the UCAN brand. These are the apps as available as of end of 2024. And once earnings come out for next week, there's going to be additional updates to provide to the investment community. Now, UCAN Makeup and UCAN Perfect are the two of our larger apps, both in terms of user plus subscriber base, as well as obviously revenue generation. Now, each one has its own unique functions. There are some overlapping element because AI, AR technology, but each one has its unique target audience. For example, UCAN Makeup, it's exactly what it sounds like on makeup side. Just like on the B2B side with clients, you can try on different lipstick, different eyeshadow or blush on your face without doing any of it in person. You can change your skin tone. You can smooth out any blemishes. You can try on hair color or hairstyle, as well as reshape your face or body. This is for an individual that is, let's say, very active on social media. You want that type of technology out there to help you post a better picture of yourself. UCAN Perfect as well. It's photo editing. That's the pure focus of it. But of course, there are elements that are overlapping with UCAN Makeup, such as the body tuner. And it adds on to the AR avatar, AR selfie and such. Again, this is very, very popular amongst mainly female audience. Probably 70% of our app users are female audience that uses photo and video editing for their social media afterwards. If you look at the growth, the beginning of this chart is second quarter of 2020 till the most recent of fourth quarter of 2024. You saw the growth very, very quickly from just over 200,000 paying subscribers to over 1 million end of last year. Again, as I mentioned before, at the end of last year, typically users are paying either 39 per year USD or anywhere from 5 to 7 per year. 5 to 7 per app per month for the apps. But majority of our paying subscribers are paying probably 90% on an annual basis because the mathematics is just work as an active user. I'm going to quickly skip this because there's a lot of overlapping what I said before in terms of makeup, in terms of hair, in terms of nails, and so on and so forth. Here is a great example of the type of service we provide. This is on the Walmart app. As a user, you pick a product you want to try on virtually. You allow for a front-facing view of your smart camera. And if you look at her lips at any time, if you change a product or color, it shows up immediately. It's real to life, right? You can see from this example, it engages the end users, the consumers, much, much better than a non-virtual try-on product. It decreases return rate because what you see is what you get, right? There's a lot of problems with online purchases because it's not exactly how you see it or saw it online, right? And of course, from an ESG perspective, because you're no longer using samples, no more plastic waste. So that helps on many fronts from our brand clients' point of view. Here's another example of Amazon for nails, right? At any time, you just click on a different style, different color, it shows up immediately. This is obviously the back-facing camera of your smart device. And here's Sephora, USA, North America, technically. So this is a skin analyzer. Within 5 seconds, it'll analyze your skin, provide you with detailed recommendations based on what we detect of how you can resolve. And based on the results, it recommends products for you to add to cart, to purchase, and to use. And of course, it'll give you a description of what you should use or when you should use and how to use. Another example here is from the Estee Lauder's company, the MAC. There's a whole set of makeup, not just lipstick. This is everything from eyeshadow to blush to lipstick. And on the right, if you look once the video starts, it teaches you step-by-step tutorial of what you should use, which product. If you look at the bottom, once it shows up, the product you should use, as well as a brush to help you apply for it, apply onto your face. So each step of the way, it teaches you how to and which to purchase in the cart. Another example, this is through our advertising, right? This is somebody that's reading an article on whichever news source. This is through Google. You can do virtual try-on through the advertisement. The same with the Cartier watch. The same with the Sally Hansen. So we work with different partners strategically around the world. So Google, YouTube, Snap, as well as in our APEC partners. A quick look at our financials. By the way, as of today, we're probably at 170 million market cap, but we have 160 plus million cash with no debt, to give you an idea. Our revenue grew at about 12.5% top line last year. Again, next week, we'll have our first quarter earnings, so bear with us. You'll see there's a slight decrease in gross margin. That's the main reason is that as we expand our B2C business, because the B2C margins are a little bit lower, Apple tax, Google tax, versus our software business, which is much higher margin. So as the percentage of revenue from B2C increases, our margin will see a slight decrease. Now, mainly as an example, when we first listed in end of 2022, approximately 25 to 30% of revenue stemmed from B2C. End of 23, it was 50%. End of 24, it was 60% from B2C. So as that time and the amount changes, that's what's causing the margin change. Net income and margin adjusted. And we generated cash, obviously, positive cash flow in 23, 24. And the guidance for this year is anywhere from 13 to 14.5%. This was provided, again, end of 2024 earnings. The growth for the company. Now, as I mentioned before, we're working with over 700 brand clients, but that universe is only approximately a third or a quarter of what's potentially out there, obviously big or small, right? So just organically to grow within the brand count is definitely something that we can do. As I mentioned before, virtual try-on for makeup and all the other elements has been our bread and butter. But over the past 2.5, 3 years, we've really moved into skincare. So skincare AI is something that we're moving into very, very quickly. And that has been, from a B2C growth perspective, the fastest growing portion of our B2B revenue. We'll continue to move in the fashion and jewelry space, as well as our B2C apps, right, through Gen AI technology. And based on the one example from the Wanna purchase, M&A, we'll continue to look for purchase or M&A that are synergetic in nature to our business. Again, it's very unique because we're in the beauty and fashion space and AI, AR space, and we generate cash. And so that's very different. Now, we still have some time. Questions? Please. just on an enterprise value basis, it seems like based on the cash you generate and market cap after cash, like buying back the stock, be pretty attractive here. Yes. How are you guys thinking about capital allocation? So historically, we have used buyback and tender. So for example, we utilize in the year 2023, 51 and change million on buyback plus tender combined. In 2024, we also had insider buying. Alice, our founders and CEO chair, she purchased her own money in 2024 shares. So, and of course, now the use of cash for acquisition with Wana took place in the first quarter of this year. Please. Right. B2B is a software. Yeah, think of no different than Salesforce, for example. We typically sign an annual contract. That's based off of the number of modules they use or the geographic distribution, as well as the number of SKUs they want in our system. We have something called key customers. Key customers are anyone that pays us over $50,000 a year. And once you surpass that threshold, you're allocated, let's say, a project manager or a specialist to help you with the whole process. Versus if you're not a key customer, it's more like a plug and play. Yes. The churn rate for B2B and B2C are obviously quite different, right? So the B2B is very, very low. I believe we're at retention rate like 90+% on the B2B side. And because we are the dominant player in the space, our customers don't really go to other players because either they're too small. Again, we're at over 300 professionals. We are the dominant player. It's hard for them to go backwards on a technology or service offering, right? And the B2B churn rate is typically the market average, which is obviously much higher than the B2C. Sorry, the B2C churn rate is market average, which is higher than B2B. Yes, sir. That WordPress product already built out enough where it's lower priority than So historically, because we were founded in 2015, we have not had an acquisition prior to or closed an acquisition until this year. So a decade before our first full acquisition, right? Now, the reason why we didn't do it is because we found that our technology has been superior to our competitor. So instead of buying them out on a premium, why not develop it internally and basically eat their lunch, right? That was our mindset from the very, very beginning. Now, the reason why we didn't for the Wana acquisition is because that there are technologies out there that Wana had that we didn't have the time or the resources allocated to that. For example, handbags and scarves, and especially apparel like clothing, is something that takes a lot more effort and energy and resources than virtual try-on for products that goes on your face. So going forward, should we utilize our cash on hand for M&A, that would most likely be the case too. It has to create synergy where it's not something that we have to kind of build from scratch, right? It has to be a plug and play. Yes, sir. Right. So the major investor concern right now, well, the first question is how do we use our cash, right? So that was one concern. Another concern is, I think from many points of view, most of the people I see right now, you're a stranger. I've never seen your face before. And I think that's the situation with the market where as a under $200 million market cap company based out of Taiwan, in a very niche market, most investors had never heard of our story. So when I was brought on board about a year and a half ago, that was the goal, to really bring our story out there to investors like yourself that are interested in a small microcap company that have potential. And by the way, we're real. We have cash on hand. We generate cash for an AI, AR company. So it's very different from probably many of the names that are out there here today. Yes, sir. You had a question?
be at the top of the list, because this is kind of like the
So as of now, on the pure B2C side, we have not sold products on our B2C app. But what we do is we do help our B2B clients create at least this element within their app. So still today, our true B2C apps do not have other companies' products because there are quite a lot of conflicts, obviously, potentially out there. So right now, we're generating cash from on the B2C side, which is just pure subscription. And by the way, we've been testing different pricing over the past few quarters and few years. For example, in 2023, it was probably at $19, $20, $25, and we raised it all the way up to $39 at the end of by the middle of 24. And next week we'll have more information to disclose about more recent numbers. Sorry. We have used, let's say, micro influencers, but we're not big on advertising through that channel. So I'm assuming you're asking about B2B, right? Oh, sorry, the B2C element, right? So because historically, we started as an app company where we didn't have B2B to begin with. So it's been over a decade, and right now, I think our MAU at like over 11, 12 million, but we really focus on the subscriber number, as in the paying users, not the people that are just downloading and then using the free functionality, right? So that's why we don't focus as much on the social media presence as much. We do have certain search engine optimization. So at the end of the day, not as much, no. Sorry, the question? Okay, so the future, we're investing a lot of money on R&D and sales and marketing. That's right now, right? So the future is in AI. Well, we all know that, right? So what we've been doing is reinvesting back in the company, and we most likely will continue to reinvest back in the company for the near future until for example, let's use the term AI agent is ready for our B2B clients. In the near term, we will continue to reinvest in the company because we still believe this technology is still very, very new, right? Especially with the entrance of OpenAI, the DeepSeek of the world. Once we have true AI agent that can be deployed on your app or on brand client's website or what have you, this is a game changer potentially, and that will cost a lot more time, energy, and money in terms of developing new technology to really keep up, if not be more advanced of our competitors. And that will continue to be until something changes. Yes, we are NYSE listed. Well, the main goal, the purpose of us being here is that to really get our name out there as a public company. There's nothing worse for a public company than be, dormant, as in you're trading a few thousand shares a day, right? At 160 million or 170 million market cap, I think we're only trading on average the last 30 days, like 80,000, 100,000 shares. And I think based on our technology, our brand clients, and our potential in terms of the market, we should be much higher in terms of market cap, in terms of trading volume. And this hopefully gets us our brand name out there. We have 1 minute left, sorry. NYSE, we listed in 2022, NYSE. Sorry, last question.
it's all set around AI. So how did the evolution of the company
Okay, the company originally founded was on an app, right? When Estee Lauder saw our app, think of no different than what you saw a few slides earlier of YouCam Makeup. It's a makeup app. when Estee Lauder saw the app, they're like, oh, this is something that we can use. And that's how we actually morphed into a B2B company at the same time. So that's why we have a B2B plus B2C to start with. So, but B2C did not generate revenue until most recent. If you remember one of the slide, it really started in 2020-ish when you're able to really monetize. So over time, B2C really grew, but the B2B element started first in terms of our revenue percentage, as I mentioned before. All right, thank you so much.